Hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur. Today we'll be discussing why someone might lose their seat, someone might be replaced, someone might be swapped with someone else, and also why drivers might change teams once their contract allows them to, or they might themselves cut their contract early, or someone in the team might end their contract for them. So stay tuned in, and I would also like to apologise because by the very end the audio goes a bit crazy. Not sure why, but just be aware of that. So we'll start off with talking about driver swaps mid-season. For whatever reason, a team might decide that someone is not performing as well as they would like to, or that they want someone to just step in because they see that they are showing results that are much better for their team and they can afford to swap out a driver. So in 2025, we've already seen this, where Liam Lawson was swapped out for Yuki Tsunoda as he was underperforming in his role in Red Bull. So they took Tsunoda out of Racing Bulls and put him into a Red Bull, and then Lawson went back into Racing Bulls just after 2 races, which many have deemed quite brutal, but that's what the Red Bull family can be like. In 2024 we saw 2 swaps, which was with Logan Sargent being swapped out for Franco Colapinto. This was due to the fact that Logan was doing very poorly. I don't think he got any points last year, and he just kept crashing, and they decided not to renew his contract. They let him know when they were in Miami racing, and after that in the Netherlands, after yet again another crash, they decided to cut ties with Logan Sargent and put Franco Colapinto into the car, and there was finally an Argentinian in the car, which hasn't been the case for over 20 years, I believe. And then Daniel Ricciardo was removed from his seat at Racing Bulls and swapped with Liam Lawson, just because he wasn't scoring the points they were hoping for him to get, and take the team up more so he can eventually be promoted to Red Bull, as they were hoping they could eventually swap him out for Sergio Perez. So Ricciardo's out of his seat and Lawson was put into the seat. This happened after the Singapore Grand Prix, so Liam Lawson finally got his seat, and as I said, he was there until the end of 2024 and then moved to Red Bull for 2 races and then was brought back into the Racing Bulls team. And following on with this whole trend, we are going to how Daniel Ricciardo actually got into that seat in the first place, and that was because Nick de Vries was in the seat and he wasn't performing as well as they would want him to be. He was quite cocky, but this cockiness didn't match up with the performances that he was giving, and as a result he was dropped from his seat. And then Daniel Ricciardo was put into the Racing Bulls when he didn't have a seat after being let go of from McLaren, and that's sort of the backwards train of how that happened. So de Vries replaced Ricciardo replaced de Vries, and then de Vries was replaced by Lawson, and then Lawson was replaced by Tsunoda. And carrying on with the Red Bull train, Daniel Kvyat was replaced by Max Verstappen because Kvyat wasn't performing as well in comparison to Max Verstappen, so he was very early on brought up to. So now we're going to discuss why drivers change teams regardless of whether they had a good time at the team that they were in or not. So we'll start off with the curse of the second seat at Red Bull, where Daniel Ricciardo in 2017 said inadvertently that everyone who gets the seat after him, they're not going to enjoy their time there. This is me paraphrasing, and as a result, this has been the case because Max Verstappen has now had 5 or 6 different teammates in the 10 years that he was there. He started off with Daniel Ricciardo, then it was Pierre Gasly, then it was Alex Albon, then it was Sergio Perez, he lasted the longest, then it was Liam Lawson, who was there for the shortest time, and then it was Yuki Tsunoda, which he has to this day. So it's really a mixed bag, that second seat, and the reason why he left was because he just didn't like the idea of the fact that the team was really forcing this whole first driver, second driver mentality, and he clearly felt like he was the second driver, and he just could not compare himself to Max Verstappen. Don't think anyone can really, and he decided to go to a different team, and that's when he went to Renault for a while, and then he fell out of touch there and went to McLaren, and then he was at the end of his contract changed for Oscar Piastri, and Oscar Piastri has been there ever since. So he was out of a job for a few months, and that's where he went to Racing Bulls. So that has been quite the adventure for him. It wasn't the first team he was in, but it was such an iconic moment where he sort of implied this curse on the second seat, and it has been the case where it just hasn't been going well for people in that seat. Another person who has been affected by many team swaps has been Carlos Sainz. So he, in the last year, his movement around has been caused by the fact that Lewis Hamilton took his seat, so then Kimi Antonelli took Lewis Hamilton's seat, so Carlos Sainz had to find a new team. So Lewis Hamilton started off with Mercedes and then went to Ferrari. So Carlos Sainz, who was in Ferrari, eventually went to Williams, and then the driver who got moved out of their seat was Colapinto, who took over for Logan Sargent. So it does tend to occur that sort of a chain of reaction happens where one person moves and then suddenly everyone has to shuffle, and as a result Colapinto is currently not a full-time driver in Formula 1. Luckily he has his Formula 2 seat still going for him, and he is also a reserve for Alpine for whenever he might be needed, most likely to be swapped out with Jack Doohan if needs be. And then another movement was Charles Leclerc. He started off in Sauber, which was at the time Alfa Romeo Sauber. He was there for about a year before he achieved his dream of not only being in Formula 1 but then also being a Ferrari driver. So he moved there as soon as the opportunity came, and he also swapped seats with Kimi Raikkonen, who went to Sauber, and that's where he ended his career. And eventually Sebastian Vettel was replaced with Carlos Sainz. So changes in teams happen all the time. It's quite difficult to pinpoint, like Verstappen is probably the second longest person in a seat. Lewis Hamilton has been at Mercedes for 12 years before he decided to up and leave and go to Ferrari. But yeah, drivers can change teams for whatever reasons, such as be it,
not being happy with the team, or the team finding someone who seems to be a better fit for them. It's really sort of... So thank you so much for listening, and I just want to say that we have a special surprise coming up in the next few weeks, so be on the lookout for that one. And don't forget to check out all of my lovely colleagues on the Be the Change Media Network. You will find all of my links down below on this episode, and hope you have a lovely weekend, and we will see you on Monday, where we will be talking about